Tēnā koutou katoa, no mai, haere mai, and welcome into Sky Rugby Club. Yes, you heard that right. We are back. The band is back together. Joey Wheeler, Israel Dag, and we've got one with a broken leg and one with a new baby. Things have changed, team.
Congrats, Joey.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah. Obviously a little bit earlier than expected. Couple of weeks early, but yeah, really stoked to welcome in a little man into the Wheeler whānau. So a crazy week in the Wheeler household, but wrapped over the moon. Courtney and Bub's doing well, and everyone's at home now. So you're really excited, although tired because the first night at home was a sleepless.
Yeah, you're tired, and Izzy's probably sore or maybe seriously drugged out because you've got a broken foot.
Yeah, I have. I'm a big baby at the moment. I'm a big baby. I can't really move anywhere. Look, had a wee accident, had surgery last Friday. Things are tracking really nice. I'm a bit over it. I'm a bit over just being stuck to the house, not being able to go far. But hey, we're level 2 down here, Kirsty, and I'm about to go have some lunch with my beautiful wife soon. Looking forward to that. That's not all.
Israel Pastrana, is it?
No, just a wee accident. Bought a new bike and then 2 hours later fell off it, sold it straight away. So I haven't got the bike anymore. It's gone. Okay.
You're the only person that would do that. Anyway, we're here because this is the great head-to-head, the great matchup. People have been waiting to see this for a very long time. One of the great fullbacks and wingers up against our great lock, Joey Wheeler up against Israel Dag. And we've got a couple of topics. We're going to kick things off with the first one. The FIFA World Cup have pitched the fact that they want to, or they potentially want to play Football World Cups biannually, which means every 2 years. And now World Rugby have said they could pick up the same concept. So does this make the gloss come off the Rugby World Cups if they are held every 2 years? What do you guys think? Joey, you go first.
Yeah, I think for me, I believe it does. I think if they do it every 2 years, I think it's going to lose the prestige around that waiting game that we find. Every team sort of builds up to that 4-year, showpiece in the World Cup, and I think having it every 2 years, I believe it'll water down that product. I love the fact that we get excited every 4 years about the showpiece event, and I think if they saturate the market with this every 2 years, then it's going to lose that little bit of importance that it has at the moment. So I'm not a fan of it, and I just I don't know why they need to do it. I'm not sure the reasonings behind it. It's obviously a monetary thing.
Yeah, money-wise, Joe, it's definitely money. That's the only reason they can look at this. And I'm not going to disagree with you here. I was lucky enough to go to one, and I know how hard it is to win it. The work that's got to be done before it, and like you said, it does take away the prestige. Every 2 years, people will get over it, get bored of it. Look, if they did, I could see it probably working. But as a player and as a fan, I think it would lose that prestige and the gloss from it. Look, the FIFA and UEFA, they do an amazing thing in Commonwealth Games. Like, I don't mind every 2 years they bring in some sort of prestigious tournament. We saw UEFA Europa. Italy beat England during the year. The prestige behind that, the following that created. It isn't the World Cup, but it's a different sense of a trophy as well that people take a lot seriously. So there is merits in other competitions, but yeah, every 4 years, mate. Like, there's so much water that needs to go under the bridge in 4 years. Like, it is hard to make a tournament as well. Like, there's only a handful of players that have probably been to 2 or 3 World Cups, and they're legends of the game. And every 2 years, I think it just loses that stigma behind it. It should be hard to make it. It should be hard to win it. And I just, totally disagree with World Rugby. If they're going to go down that track, keep it at 4 years, create a little mini tournament at about 2 year mark, whereas a stepping stone to that 4 year mark, and then, go from there, I feel.
I've got an alternative. I've got an alternative for you, Dagger.
Yeah.
You know how you mentioned UEFA and doing a similar thing to what football do. What about a Lion series? Like, Lion series are if they did that every 4 years in between the World Cup, where the Lions play, let's say, a Sanzar or a Pacifica based team similar to the Lions, where they pick from all the international teams to make an unbelievable series where they travel around the world and maybe play, I don't know, a five game series against each other, or a club championship, like you said. I reckon that'll be awesome. The top three from each national championship go and play a club championship every 2 years.
100%, totally agree. Why don't we do a North v South, a Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere? Go play a little competition around the globe, mate. The fanfare, the attraction that would be
That'd be
amazing. You get to
awesome,
see the
mate.
best players from the Southern facing off the best players from the North. We know that's a love-hate relationship. Totally agree. And you touched on it there with the club championship as well. Like, we have to get that done. They do it in the NRL. They do it in the league. You see a Wigan versus the Manly Sea Eagles or the Melbourne Storm. The traction that creates, mate, unbelievable. The Champions League within the soccer. Finding out who the best club is in the world, mate. We need to make it happen. Yes, we keep talking about rugby calendar, and it is already congested, and that's probably our next topic, but it needs to be done. We need to make it happen, I reckon.
Okay, well, we'll leave that one there, and we've decided here on Sky Rugby Club, put that idea of biennial Rugby World Cups on the scrap heaps. There are other alternatives, and our boys have just come up with a couple for you. Keep the debates going at home, and maybe come up with your own concepts of what you'd like to do every other year as well. Next up, topic 2. This one was a hot topic earlier in the week. This potential World 12s Global Rugby Tournament, which they want to stage next year. Steve Chu is involved in it. 8 teams, and it's going to be like the IPL of rugby. So they're talking big money auctions. Are you yay or nay, guys?
Look, I'm yay. 100% I'm yay. Look, Steve Chu and Steve Hansen gonna get paid anyway. That's the first thing. Ian Ritchie, they're creating a product. Look, I can see the merit in it. To be honest, there's so many things that need to fall into place. I've already touched on it with the calendar. We couldn't even get a global game between clubs going. We couldn't even figure out a global calendar so we can have a North v South competition. So there's just so many things that need to happen. But if they do come out, one thing that's going to get this over the line is money. Money is going to get this over the line. The only way you can make a dent in this, because the players have the power. Look, let's be honest, the players, I feel, have the power. If they want to go make money, and if they want to go make big money, and there is big money to be put on offer from these competitions and these clubs, like a Bowden Barrett, if he gets an opportunity to go play for a 1.5 million for 5 or 6 weeks, he gonna jump at that. He gonna tell New Zealand, look, you just got to back me, you got to support me here. And so for me, I'm totally for it. If they get the money and they get the traction that they're talking about, the broadcasting package, whatever, the hundreds of millions they think that they can make over 5 years, I can see the merit in it. Joey, what's your thoughts, mate?
Well, I'm against, only because for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I'll just touch on your point around Steve Hansen and Steve Chu. I laughed when I saw those two come out and are all for it, because I think back to probably, let's say, 2.5 years ago when those boys were in their old jobs as CEO of NZR and the head coach of the All Blacks. I can imagine Steve Hansen sitting in that press conference and going out there, "Are you serious? Player welfare is a front of mind, ladies and gentlemen. Player welfare is the number one issue around the game." And then here he is now going, "Oh, all good. No, let's roll them out, take them away for August, September." And that's my biggest worry, is the calendar, right? And what does that mean for the competitions in New Zealand? If they do it in August, that means that the Bledisloe has to be moved. The Rugby Championship has to be moved, which then pushes everything back or brings everything forward, which then goes and chunks into that Super Rugby time. We've already got a fan base who we're struggling to engage with. We saw Eden Park, Bledisloe 2. It was half empty. Imagine what this is going to do. If we take away all our star players, you talked about a Bowden Barrett, we take away a Brodie Retallick, we take away all our star talent from that series, the Rugby Championship and the Bledisloe, we're going to get crowds similar to that of NPC games. So we've got to be really, really careful. I think the first thing World Rugby need to do before this goes ahead, and you alluded to it, Dagger, is sort out the global calendar. There's got to be, if they can sort that out, then there's going to be no issues fitting this 5-week competition in. And I'm all for it, because if that means that we can keep our best talent in New Zealand and they go away for 5 weeks and go make bank, then I'm all for it, because that means they're going to keep that All Black jersey on for a longer time, and they're not going to have to go take up lucrative contracts in France and Japan to ensure that they stay in New Zealand. And I know it will be lucrative, because I look at one guy that's an ambassador for that, and that's my old teammate from Suntory, Matt Gateau. And I know he doesn't come cheap. So if he's being an ambassador, you know that the boys are going to be getting paid. But I do like a couple of other things around it. The 2 players that are going to be have to be in each of the 8 franchises from Tier 2 nations. I do like that, and I like the fact that they're also going to incorporate a women's competition the year after as well. So there are some positives, but first and foremost, I'm against it for next year until they sort out that global calendar. It just can't happen, because it's going to have too much of an impact on the Rugby Championship and the Bledisloe Cup, and potentially cutting into the time with our Super Rugby product as well. And I also think it confuses fans. We've got 7s, we've got 10s, we've got 15s, and now we've got 12s. Yeah, it's a lot of different products.
Yeah, I look at the game of sorry, Chris. I just look at the game of cricket, how they've gone about the 100 ball game that they've brought in, the IPL, how much traction that has got. Obviously, it being in India, they love sport. They've got the population, they've got the numbers there, so that helps. But for me, like you touched on with the Tier 2 nations, like what an unbelievable stepping stone is, and an opportunity for these guys that most probably won't get another opportunity to go and make these sorts of money. You look at a Kyle Jameson, I'm just making, for example, unbelievable talent, yes, amazing at what he does, went over to the IPL, played extremely amazing, his value goes up, so that the potential earning power for these kids and these players that they can potentially earn over this small period of time, and actually giving them exposure on the world stage. I look at that sense, and I fully appreciate what you're saying. I totally agree with all of it and things like that. But I just think the stepping power and the opportunity to expose these players to the next level, getting them out on the world stage, and giving them an opportunity to potentially set them up post-footy, I see merits in that as well.
Whose side are you on, Joey or Izzy's? Post it in the comments, interact with us as well. Do you want the global calendar to be sorted first like Joey, or do you sit on Izzy's side of the fence? Okay, final one, and this isn't a debate.
Get the money!
I just thought this was something nice that we could talk about. Aaron Smith has foregone playing in the Rugby Championship this year, may not join the All Blacks at all because he has another little baby due, and he's going to be playing for the Manawatu Turbos in the Bunnings Cup as well. He's come out and he's said some lovely things, that his family, his son, his wife Tegan, they're bigger than rugby at the moment, and I just love this. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm obviously the man Nug that he's become over the last few years. We've seen a real transformation in him, and it's also transpired onto the field. The care that he's got and the love that he's got for his family. Everyone always says that family comes first, and it's a massive sacrifice that those guys that are away from their families are going to make, and I fully respect Nug's decision to stay home and look after his family as well. So, yeah, awesome for him and his family that he's going to be around to see the birth of his second child. And what a bonus for Manawatu to have a guy like him, 101 Test cap All Black and 165, I think it is, for the Highlanders, coming and throwing on that jersey that I know means so much to him. And I think that's really special in itself, is that a guy like Aaron Smith, who's obviously world class at what he does, still has the humility to be able to go, yeah, I want to go back and give back to my province and still play for them is just awesome. So, yeah, take my hat off to him. And it is bloody challenging in these times with COVID and having to try get MIQ spots, and everyone's struggling with it. And for him to forego the opportunity to play a hell of a lot of test matches and travel the world on what is going to be an awesome 3-month tour for those All Blacks, to stay home and see the birth of his second child is just really, really cool.
Yeah, I love it. We spoke about it before we come on air, the changing of the guard for the modern day athlete. 5 years ago, this probably would have been looked at a totally different sense, look down on it. What's he doing? He's showing weakness, blah, blah, blah. But just love how the modern day athletes are making a change and making a stance. Quade Cooper on the weekend saying that he is more than just an athlete, whether he plays good or bad. Sophie Pascoe spoke to her, whether she won a race, whether she lost a race, there's more to life than just sport. And these guys, Aaron Smith, he's having a second son. His baby's probably not due till November, so he probably could have gone and represented his family. But he wanted to be here for Tegan, little Luca, and man, I love it. I love what it's about. He's putting his priorities first for someone that's Nuggy. He's done it all. But what I loved is how he's changed. He's become a man. He's got his priorities right. The Nuggy 4 years ago would 100% went on tour, got away, just really embraced it, enjoyed it. Code was at the forefront of his mindset. But now he's got a family. He's made so many changes in his life. I'm just so happy for him and love the decision he's made. And on the other side, what an opportunity for Finlay Christie to get that opportunity in the All Blacks. Probably would have been playing for Tasman Marcos. We got to look for the future. The All Blacks, 2 years away. Will Nuggy be there? Will TJ be there? We can't take a young halfback in a critical position there with no experience. Not inexperience, but experience overseas, playing in different conditions. You're playing in the Gold Coast, it's hot. They're going to be playing in Paris, totally different climate. So the experience Finlay will get will be second to none. And then what about Manawatu? Like you said, Joey, like Manawatu, imagine the halfbacks, the kind of the things that he will make.
The rugby IQ that they're going to pick up, not just the halfbacks, mate, everyone. Because you know what Nuggy's like in the team. He is across everything from defences to the team attack to the little micro skills that go into his game, his preparation, the way he acts as a professional. These young kids in the Manawatu should just be watching every single move of Nuggy, how he prepares for every single week. It's no fluke that he performs nine and a half out of 10 every week. That is down to his preparation, his professionalism. So I just encourage all those young kids in that Turbos environment, while Nuggy's up there, pick his brains. He'll talk to you, mate. He'll chew your ear off about anything rugby.
Of course he'll talk. He'll talk to
you end up having 5 coffees and he will just spit every little bit of information out of you. And he has a wealth of knowledge. So it's just so cool for those young guys, for all of those guys that are involved in that Turbos environment, to have him around just to soak up his rugby intelligence, his rugby IQ will be invaluable for those guys.
Well, you two are as close to halfbacks as we've got, because you've just chewed our ears off for about 20 minutes, but we've loved it. You've agreed, you've disagreed, you've agreed to disagree, and I think we should do this all again really, really soon here. Sky Rugby Club hopefully will be back on your screens very soon, but hopefully this suffices in the meantime. Lovely to see you guys.
You too, Kirst.
I'm just going to go for lunch. I'll send you a photo of my nice lunch in cold stub. Woohoo!
Yeah, thanks, guys. And we'll see you soon.
Cool.